Erica Robinson here again from In the Company of Cards. And I thought that today I would not talk about the convention because um, we're in the midst of it. And I think that everything I've said about it today is accurate. So you can go back and watch those recordings. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a subscriber. If you're not, please do consider hitting the subscribe button and the like button. You know what I never understood? Why people tell people before they even say anything, be sure to like this video. I mean, how do you know you're going to like it until you've seen it? So if you end up liking it, then I would love it if you would hit the like button, please. So the first question I want to look at, I think I've got three today. The first question is from a viewer who asked about Judge Marchand's ruling as to whether or not he will grant 45's request for a delay in sentencing until after the election. Now, what we do know is that the prosecution has agreed to defer to the judge. So they're not going to say, wait a minute, no, you need to do it now. They're going to defer to the judge and in his discretion as to whether or not Trump should be sentenced now, meaning September, or whether to delay it. So I'm just going to look at what Judge Marchand will decide as to whether or not to delay this. So I'm just going to pull 5 cards. I'm not going to pull a significator card, a focus card. I'm going to let Spirit decide what that card will be because that's always cool. Okay. So here's what I have. I have the snake. I have the garden. The card that comes up in the middle, which is always important, is the bouquet. I have the ring and I have the house. So I think I have a pretty clear answer on what this means. You know, this whole thing is quite quite a tangled web for Judge Merchan. I mean, what are you supposed to do you sentence him? And then if you sentence him to jail, where exactly are you going to put him? I've got my prison blue shirt on, so you know what my preference would be. But he is a contender for the presidency, 45. So it really presents a problem for Marchand. Particularly in the eyes of the public, right? The garden is the card for the public. So I think given that 45 will be granted a delay in his sentencing, the bouquet is a gift, and this will be a gift to him, particularly because the prosecution is not going to protest it. And then of course, we have the ring, which makes me feel like, a continuance, a delay, right? The circle keeps going until a decision has been made about who will be going to the White House. So the answer is yes, that Marchand will grant 45's request that his sentencing be delayed until after the election. I could pull on what the sentence will be, but I'm not going to. Okay. The second question that I wanted to look at is to see sort of to get the upshot, the outcome of Ukraine's incursion into Russia. I mean, this is quite a thing, right? They're not on the defense anymore, Ukraine. It's a power move. It's not like he's trying to take over Russia, because it's more of a power move. Like, look what I can do, Putin. So I guess the question is, the most interesting question is, how will this incursion affect Putin's future, Putin's fate? And what I'm going to do is same thing. I'm going to let spirit decide what card should go in the center. Okay. So the question again is, what will the Ukrainian incursion into Russia, how does that, what does that mean for Putin moving forward? Okay. Okay. So we have the key, we have the heart, we have the letter, we have the mountain, and we have the star. Okay, so let's see what that means. Putting them back in the order that I pulled them. I'm going to say with the key that it was a boss move of Zelensky to invade Russia. The key is a card that is, I call it the fraternal twin of the sun. It's that good of a card. Why? Because it unlocks stuff, it opens doors, it answers questions. This was a boss move. May not appear like it is in the short term, but it absolutely is in the long term. The star is about the future. Okay. Now, the heart, at the core, each man, Putin and Zelensky, love their countries. And this war has been just interminable. We are in summer now, but just like we are going into fall, they're going to go into fall and they're going to go into winter. And it would be nice if this thing could be, wrapped up. Whether there could be some sort of halt in the proceedings, delay, ceasefire, that kind of thing. And this speaks to that as well. This is the center card. Center card here, the letter, is the most frustrating card in Lenormand, at least to this reader, because it refers to anything in writing. So I have to really use my spidey sense and my intuition and the information from the other cards to figure out what the letter means. In this context, the letter has to do with, I think, treaties, whether temporary or long-term, but peace treaties. And I think that, bullies don't make treaties if they think they can roll over whoever they're trying to roll over. But by making that bad boss move, by the incursion into Russian territory, Putin's going to have to think twice. And he may very well be open to some sort of temporary ceasefire, some sort of quelling of hostilities, hopefully through the cold months, because each side has lost many, 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 many men. And, they love their countries, each of them. And public opinion is not in favor of more war in winter. So I do think it was a good move, a smart move, a strategic move, and that it will move Putin closer to some sort of accord. Again, albeit temporary, maybe during the cold winter months. The third question that I want to look at is also international in nature, as we let the domestic scene kind of play out this week with the convention, which I am glued to, by the way. I thought last night was beautiful. And this question has to do with Israel. So I heard no lesser a journalist than Judy Woodruff, who I didn't even know was still in the game, but certainly, and I'm assuming she's still with PBS, public television. And she had a report, she gave a report that said that 45 had been on the phone to Netanyahu, even as Antony Blinken, our envoy, is on his way back and forth to Israel to get a peace accord. And 45 apparently was on the phone to Netanyahu, encouraging him to not sign on to any peace accord that Blinken presents him with. And why is that? Well, he's saying, listen, I'm going to get in November, and I'm your guy. I'm your man. You can count on me, and I will help you out. So don't do a deal, because the real reason, of course, is that he doesn't want Blinken to be able to do a deal, because that would help the incoming administration, right? So there are some complicating factors here. One of which is that Biden has a history with Netanyahu, a friendship. Now, I don't really know what these political friendships exactly entail, but I will say that certainly up until recently, the Netanyahu Biden friendship meant that Biden was quicker to believe the Israeli read on how things were going than he was the Palestinian read on how things were going. Now, to Biden's credit, he has become more balanced in his stance. Now, also, Netanyahu and Trump have an affinity for each other. So really the question is, who will really have Netanyahu's ear? Will it be Biden, Blinken, Harris, or will it be 45? So let's see. So what I'm going to do, something a little different. I'm going to pull 3 cards. So the top 3 will be for 45 and his ilk, who do not want peace now because they want to be able to take credit for peace later, should 45, God forbid, be back in office. And then the bottom 3 will be for Blinken, Biden, and Harris, and will they and their argument for peace and the peace accord that we're proposing to them, will that win the day? Okay, so I'm going to turn them all over. Okay. So remember, Trump's saying, don't do a deal, Netanyahu. Just hold your horses, hold your water, hold my beer, wait for me, and I'll come in and do things the way you want. Well, we have the scythe, we have the woman, and we have the woman. What does this mean? This means, in my opinion, the scythe is a card for a decision. But if you literally look at what it means, it's a blade that cuts. Okay. Netanyahu is thinking, Harris is going to win. Sorry, 45, but Harris is going to be 47. And you have been effectively, for all intents and purposes, defanged. You can't do anything for me moving forward. So, and then we have the Biden administration and their peace proposal, Harris, the incoming administration. We have Crossroads, we have Heart, and we have again, and I shuffled, the bouquet. Okay. This tells me Netanyahu will make a strategic decision. We've already seen that he believes that Harris will win. These are choices. He can pick a path. He's got to pick a path. And, he wants to stay on good terms with the US. And if Harris and Biden and Blinken are saying you need to do a peace deal, he's going to want to stay in good grace with them. And so I think he will not listen to Trump. And I think he will go along with what Blinken is proposing. That's what I think. So this is a short one today. palate cleanser, as it were. I'll do another one later in the week. Maybe we'll be back to the convention or 45, I don't know. But if you have questions, please feel free to put them in the comments. I'm happy to look at whatever you'd like me to look at. And then also I would refer you to my Substack, where I do readings in written form and sort of flesh out what the longer spread that I like to do when I'm writing will have to say about a given issue. But anyway, thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And if now you'd like to hit the like button, I'd love that. See you next time.